I don't like people to speak forever and say nothing. So I want you to get me busted, if we can say so, in a friendly way. And my duty is to get you busted in a friendly way. All right? So when you see me saying to you, I need a text, or you see my hand up, please give me the mic back. I will just ask you a question about something you said, or I will make a comment. I'll give you the mic back. It's just a way to switch the mic between us, because this is Pal Talk. One person can speak at the time, and we have no other options. It's not like a phone conversation where both of us, we can speak. So just watch this. If I say to you, can you please give me the mic, give it to me, or if I put my hand up, and the same, you can do the same for me. Mr. Muslim D, I've been told in Facebook that he is a person who do da'wah in New York or in New Jersey. I'm not sure if this is true. He is very active person, and I don't know if you believe he's a sheikh, but I think he grow a beard. Is that correct, Muslim D? So, which means you consider yourself something like that. So let us see how much knowledge you have in your religion, and what is your questions about my belief. The mic is yours, and you are more than welcome.
Hi, greetings to all. Am I heard? Beautiful. Okay. So, thanks for the kind invitation there, Christian Prince. I really do appreciate your kind words. I haven't been on Pal Talk in a while, probably over a year and some change. I used to be quite active, especially back in, I guess you can say 2008 to 2010, 11, whatnot. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So again, thanks for the invitation, and I'm happy that we can discuss and share some common grounds here, and ultimately come to a goal we're seeking to achieve here. Now, I do want to point out that the reason why I'm here right now is because there was someone who came to one of my posts and dropped a message. It was regarding a post that I put where the term Allahu Akbar is mentioned, and we had a little bit of a confrontation regarding what the term Akbar means. He unfortunately started getting somewhat disrespectful, and I looked in past messages and I found that he was actually very disrespectful, where he said things like, Muhammad, pork be upon him, piss be upon him, and whatnot. So may God forgive him for that. I think that's very wrong and disrespectful, and I don't appreciate that. I think if we're going to have a dialogue, it should be with respect and in a civilized manner. That's the only, if we're willing to discuss under those terms, I'm fine with discussing. As for you mentioning that I'm a Da'i, and by the way, my name is Muslim Da'i on Pal Talk here, so you can have the correct pronunciation there. But as for me, give dawah, I'm a student of comparative religion people to Islam, people of different backgrounds, that is. So I do give dawah in New Jersey, New York, tri-state area here in the US, and I'm pretty active, yes. And I do have some videos, whatnot, in regards to Christian thought and Islamic thought. So I do have about, you can say, 25 minutes to discuss further, and I will do my best so that we can split our time. But I'm not sure what you wanted to talk first. I guess I can start by just saying that I would like to invite you all to Islam and to look more into it if you haven't. And it seems obviously that you guys probably have, considering that you have a chat room that says, what is Allah and what is Islam? So I'm not sure if this room is purpose just to refute Islamic thought. The intention is here. So maybe if you can clarify that, that would be great. I'm not entirely sure what the topic of discussion is as well. I guess I would ask you, because the reason why I'm here is, since you're an Arab Christian, what is, if you want to talk about some linguistics and terminology here, because apparently we have people, even in this room, saying that the term akbar means big, and others are saying bigger. Some are saying greater, and whatnot. So there is some room for discussion there. I hold the view that Arabic is a rich language. It's a Semitic language, and therefore it can either mean great or it can mean greater, right? Depending on the context there. So I don't think this is a major topic. I think if we were to discuss something, I would like to discuss maybe the divinity of Jesus in the Bible. I'd probably like to discuss maybe some biblical verses if you want, textual criticism or whatnot. So I'm not really sure which direction you want to take this. So I think I'll pass the mic to you. You'd like to focus on.
All right, Muslim Dai. You know, you are my guest. So be my guest and ask anything you want. You see, for me, I believe those who claim they have knowledge, they should not put limited for questions. Do we agree, people? If somebody claims that he have a knowledge, then he should not be prepared for a topic, because topic preparation is for someone he is collecting maybe things from the internet, but yet he claimed that he's a scholar. Right? So open, whatever you want to ask me. And you know, I don't want to put you into test. Regarding the name of the room, my experience with Muslims is the following. Not even one Muslim knows what is Allah. And you can prove you wrong. Not even one Muslim in this earth, he knows what is Allah. So this is why I call the name of my room, What is Allah and What is Islam? Not even one. So if you can yourself present to us who is Allah, you see, I'm not asking you a question, feel free to ask me, you know, I'm not, but you are the one who asked me to tell you what this word mean. Muslims, if you ask them what is Allah, they will say to you, He is the creator, but this is not who is Allah. The Quran says Allah is the best of the creators. There's many creators. They say to you He is the divine, but Muslims, they say there's more than one divine. There's the word of Allah and there's the knowledge of Allah. So now we have three divine. They are not united, they are separated, and they are not one person. They say to you He is you know, the one who exists from the beginning. Well, you have no proof of that. At the same time, this is not who is Allah. Do you know who is Allah? The one you call him Allah, who is he? Muhammad, he never spoke to Allah, never heard his voice, he never even witnessed anything of Allah. So how Muhammad, who himself, he never met Allah, he never spoke to Allah. Like, you know, Moses, he spoke to Allah. If you read the Quran, you will see Allah speaking to Moses, speaking to Jesus, speaking to Alexander the Great, speaking to Saleh, speaking to tons of people, but yet he don't speak to Muhammad. So how the one who do not know anything about Allah is telling me about Allah? And this is why I say not only Muslims do not know who is Allah, even Muhammad himself do not know who is Allah. The mic is yours. And regarding Akbar, yes, in Arabic, in Akbar, you know, if I can give you now a sentence, I think you speak Arabic, Mr. Dai. If you say هذه التفاحة أكبر من هذه التفاحة, that's mean this apple is bigger than this apple. Akbar is the same as we say in English, bigger, not, or the, let us say there's big and bigger and biggest. All right. In this case, Akbar means bigger, not the biggest. And you will see that the same statement used by Abraham in the Quran. He saw the star, he saw the sun, he saw the moon. He said, this is Akbar, this is my Lord. So that statement is used to speak about a size, not about greater, you know, greater in what? You don't say to your father, you are Akbar. You say, you are greater than me because you are my father. I respect you. All right? And greater in Arabic is Azim, not Akbar. Akbar is to compare between size. However, we go back to the first question you asked. The name of the room is What is Allah and What is Islam? And maybe as you as a Muslim, you can present to us who is Allah. And please don't tell me He is the creator, because the Quran says many creators there is. Don't tell me he is a divine. There's many divine Muslims believe in, including the word of God, the knowledge of God, and God himself. Three are divine, eternally exist from the beginning, and they are not created by any of each other. So who is Allah? The mic is yours.
Okay, thanks for that engaging conversation there, or response, I should say. Just a few things I can, point out here. I'm happy that you did answer the question there on Akbar, so I can touch on that briefly. I do want to mention that I am seeing some explicit statements in the chat. You did mention that there would be some respect here, and obviously I'm already seeing that that's not there. So that's not cool. Whatever, we'll deal with it for now. But if it does continue, then I'll just I'll just have to bounce. Now, Christian Prince, just so you know, I am kind of familiar with you. I have seen some videos. One of my good friends, Mustafa Sahin, has debated you several times, and he has videos up with you and him. You also have videos as well. So some of my good friends have spoken to you before. Ijaz Ahmed, I'm not sure if you've spoken to him, but I believe you may have, and others, and Yahya Snow and whatnot. But anyway, just to get to the topic here, the word Akbar, I agree with you as an Arabic speaker that Akbar does mean bigger, it means greater, and it does not necessarily mean greatest. Because when you say something Akbar means from something else, that would apply, that would be allowed. Now, according to Arabic lexicon though, there is more to it that I think you have not looked into. The word Akbar literally translates to great. Okay, so the root word for Akbar is Kabir, which means the same thing, but it's practically applied towards one of the attributes of God, in this case Allah. So generally it would mean that Allah is great. Time on this topic. I think if we were to discuss actually the point that you mentioned, it'd be better. So you're asking right now, who is Allah? And you're claiming that most Muslims don't know who Allah is. Well, the word Allah is an Arabic word for God, essentially. And I think you would agree with that. I would hope that you do, because that's essentially basic Arabic. In Egypt, and Coptic Christians, Arabic speakers, would say Allah. Say Allah, you would have to answer that question. And then at the same time, if we were to look in the Arabic, you would find, for example, in Genesis, Allah khalaqa as-samawati wal ard. Why does it say the word Allah? Bible. So if Allah is not God, then you need to explain why in the Old Testament Arabic Allah, and I'm sure you speak Arabic. I can tell just by your dialect that you're an Arabic speaker. So why in Genesis and in other places, in Genesis 1 specifically, why does it mention Allah numerous times just in the very first chapter there? I would love for you to respond on that point. Appreciate it. I also want to mention that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, peace be upon him, is not the only messenger we believe in. As Muslim is not a Muslim unless he believes in all the messengers and prophets, right? So I don't know why Christians are always stuck on this point of Muhammad. He is one of the messengers that we believe in. Here in chapter 2, verse 286, that we make no distinction. They're all messengers, they're all prophets. It's not like we worship Muhammad, peace be upon him. The only difference here, the unique difference, is that Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the last of the Anbiya. He's Khatam al-Nabiyyin. He's the last, he's a seal of prophethood. We obviously accept Jesus, whom peace be upon, as a prophet of God and servant of God, Ibrahim, and all the other prophets, Musa, alayhim salam jami'an, all of them. So I don't know why you're questioning the term Allah, because the term Allah is not a new term that has been coined. It's a term that's been coined for many, many centuries prior to, of Muhammad and even Jesus. So I would like for you to address that point as well, because a hard time understanding that the word Allah is simply God. That's all it is. So We can see that highlighted throughout the New Testament, even and the Old Testament. You would need to explain why, for example, in Matthew 27:46, it says, Eli, Eli, lima sabaqtani, which is not exactly the word Allah, but there is some connection there. In the New Testament, we see that Allah is referred to as Eli, or Elo, or Elohim, which are basically the same as Allah, just in a different language, Hebrew, Aramaic, and whatnot. So I don't want to take much time. I do want to be fair, and pass the mic to you. If you can touch on these points and answer them, I would highly appreciate that.
All right, Sandy. In the beginning, you said some people, they are making an attack in the text. As you see here, this is not a Muslim room. So here, people, they can say their mind about the topic, not about you. All right? You know that. I mean, me as a Christian, I believe Muhammad is a false prophet, and we agree about that, right? Myself, I'm a Christian for a reason, because I don't believe. Low voice. Is it better now? Better? All right. So all the Christians believe Muhammad is a false prophet. That's why they're not Muslims. So I hope you will not mind if they state that in the text. Now, guys, please refrain. Be polite. All right. He is here to debate us, not to. If anyone say anything bad, let me know, and I will deal with him. Now, Mr. Dai, you see, I asked you who is Allah. You gave me a speech, and the speech saying that the Christians in the Middle East, they use the word Allah, but this is a translation, and they are forced to use it because of the Muslim occupation. This is why you see, if you go just a meter away from a land not occupied by Muslims, you will not see Christians using the word Allah. So those are forced. Imagine you live in a city controlled by ISIS, and they say to you, if you say the different word in Egypt, you mention Egypt. If you mention Arabic, if you speak any language except Arabic in Egypt, in certain time, they cut your tongue. Not even speaking about different word, just using your own language, your Coptic Egyptian language, they cut your tongue. So this is a translation, have nothing to do with our book. If you go and read all the Bible, the original Bibles, you will not find the word Allah. Secondly, you said Allah is a word meaning God. This is absolutely false. That's why I said, God, did I say no Muslim knows who is Allah? Did I say that? So this person, this gentleman, is saying their God have no name. It's just a word, generic God, generic word, generic God, and Allah is just a word meaning God. So their God have no name. But the fact, Muslims, they have 99 names and they start with Allah. And suddenly Allah is just a word and it's not a name. It's just a word meaning God. Then if this is true, then how you say in the Shahada there is no God but Allah? You should say there's no Allah but Allah then. Correct? If Allah is just a word meaning God, then you should say there is no Allah but Allah, because both are, Allah is a word meaning God, as you said. So this is not the truth. The truth is Allah is a name for your God, and actually the Allah is not a name of your God. The real name is Lah. This is why if you go to the chapter 1 verse number 2 in the Quran, you will see it says Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. What does that mean? Thanks li to Lah. So the name of your God is Lah, and Lah is the moon God. Anyone can go right now to Google and he can search for who is Lah, and you will see he is the moon God. Now I was expecting you to tell me who is Allah, but you did not tell me anything. You gave me zero answer about Allah. You did not say to me anything who is Allah. All what you said to me, Allah is God. You remind me of a Muslim website. I wanted to have some dialogue with them, so I joined their chat. It's a Convert to Islam website. So I asked them why the Prophet he kissed the black stone. They said because it's holy, and I said why it's holy. They said because it's the Prophet kissed it. But where is the answer? So I'm still waiting for you to tell me who is Allah. You see, let me give you little explanation. Maybe you are still not getting it. If I ask you who are you, you don't say I am Dr. Ahmed. Doctor is your profession. Is that correct? This is what you do. This is not you. Who are you? Victor is just to tell me what do you do. So the question is, who is Allah? Not even one of you Muslims can give me an answer. And there is no proof of the existence of Allah. And then you mentioned to me that the Quran, or you said that the Quran said that the prophets are equal. This is not true. Obviously, you do not know your Quran. If you go, there's tons of verses. As an example, if you go to chapter 2, verse number 253, it says, those are the prophets or the messengers. We elevate some upon some. And I understand why you are saying what you said. You said all of them, they are equal, because there is different verse in the Quran contradict this verse and says they are equal. But the same Quran saying they are not equal, and there is some are elevated upon others. So you are suffering from a problem exists in your book, and you have no idea how to deal with it. Chapter 6, verse number 86, it says the same, that Ishmael and Yesa and Yunus and Lut, they are, and those are, we elevate upon the others, all mankind actually. There is like as a different example, chapter 17, verse number 55. وَقَدْ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَ النَّبِيِّينَ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. All right, and we elevate some of the prophet upon other prophets. You are quoting a verse in the Quran which contradict tons of verses in the Quran, and that is very normal, because you know what the Quran itself says: if this book is not from God, you will find a lot of contradiction. And obviously this book is not from God. Now regarding Jesus says Eli, Eli, Jesus is quoting from the Old Testament. The Old Testament speak about when the Messiah he come, the Messiah, to know the Messiah, he will say this. This is what will happen to him. They will crucify him. They will fight over his clothes. They will divide his clothes. A bone they will not break, etc. So this is one of the prophecy, and the Messiah is quoting the prophecy about him to confirm that I am the one, I am the Messiah, and this is exactly, and this is why he said it's complete. What the complete is? The prophecy. So I give you the mic back. Can you please tell me who is Allah? Mic is yours.
Okay, well, thanks there, Christian Prince, for your response. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, much to your dismay, I don't think that cuts it. I don't think you stating that Allah does not mean God, just stating that alone refutes or is a sufficient rebuttal. I don't know what points you actually brought up here that would diminish my points. I don't understand. But basically, to my knowledge, if you were to reconsider what I said, again, Allah is an Arabic word which means God, or it means the God. If you were going to apply your, you can say, requisite in stating that Allah is not God and that it's really La, coming from Alhamdulillah, then you need to do that with what's stated in your books. That would only be fair, right? And if that's the case, then let's apply it to your standards, which would be, in this case, what Jesus, whom peace be upon him, spoke, which is Aramaic. He used to say Allah or Ilaha. And if that's the case, then you would have to call your God Laha. So if you're going to call my God La or La, then I'm going to have to call your God La or Laha. Fair? Okay. Again, Semitic languages, they're sister languages, so you need to apply the same rulings. I don't know why you're just stating that Allah is not God and using that as a refutation. I don't think that's a very good way to go about it. That's the first point there. If you want to counter that, I'm happy to hear it. But again, I did state that. I'm kind of puzzled by you stating that Arabic-speaking Christians or Coptics are forced to say Allah. I don't think anyone is holding a knife to their throat saying, say Allah. Again, I don't think that's the case right now. I think people in Egypt, I personally have very close Coptic Christians who are living fine in Egypt. They're very happy, and they say Allah. There's no issues there at all. So I'm sure they have other terms that they can state, such as Masih or something else, but apparently they use Allah. So there has to be some wisdom there behind that. I think that we need to investigate further. Now, as to your second point, you were stating that my claim was false in stating that all the prophets are, that there's no distinction between all the prophets, as if I made it up. Well, let's look at the Quran. Again, what does the Quran say in chapter 2, verse 285 in Surah Al-Baqarah? That the messenger has believed in what was revealed to him from his Lord, and so have the believers. All of them have believed in Allah and his angels and his books and his messengers, saying, we make no distinction between any of his messengers. Very clear. Distinction between any of his messenger. لا نفرق بين أحد. Crystal clear. So why are you coming that that's not the case if it explicitly states it in chapter 2, verse 285 of the Quran? You can touch on that point, that as well. I think those two counters that I just, and I don't know how you can put forward a sound rebuttal in regards to those two statements, but I really don't think that you just saying God is a sufficient refutation. So if you can touch on that point, I'd appreciate it. Unfortunately, I do have to get back to my son, so I will let you definitely comment back. But after your comment, I'm gonna have to step out. I appreciate you for having this conversation with me. We can try to set up a future discussion. I'd be more than happy, and maybe next time I can even bring a friend or two, and we can talk more. All right. So I'll give you the mic. Thank you again, Christian Prince, for inviting me here, and God bless.
All right, you know, I'm really disappointed. I thought you will stay here, and your excuse of your son, this is not an excuse. I'm sure you have a wife too, right? And she can stay with him for 2 hours, and you go. But obviously, you notice that you are no match. I'm not insulting you, guys. He just said, it says in the Quran clearly that the Quran says that no prophet is elevated upon other prophet. Guys, post for me the verses I quoted. The Quran says clearly that yes, we elevate verses from the same chapter, chapter 2, verse number 253. Same chapter, quote two opposite contradiction. One, it says we don't elevate, and guys, did he say himself, Mr. D, he said that we don't elevate? Did he say that? He said it's crystal clear. He said that. Well, here we go. It's a crystal clear in front of your eyes. It says it clearly. We elevated some of the prophet upon other prophets, and they are higher in ranks. So this is a clear contradiction in the Quran. This is not my own. You see the funny, you said, I am the one who said that. This is not my words. I'm quoting the Quran. This is not my words. I have nothing to do with it. Now, after all this conversation, Mr. Muslim Dai, he wanted to prove to me that Allah is God by what? By saying that some Christians in the Middle East, they use in their translation the word Allah. I am a Christian, and I say to you, Allah is not my God. Those people, they are forced to. This is why you don't see any Christians in the world using that word. Actually, I can show you right now that in country like Malaysia, they forbid the Christians in the country to use the word Allah in their churches, because it says it clearly, this is the name of Allah, and you have no right to use it. So when the Muslims are strong, when they want, they forbid you from using it. When they want, they force you to use it. And until now, the question is going, who is Allah? There's no answer. Guys, did he answer? Did he answer who is Allah? No. So obviously, you Muslims do not know who is Allah. Imagine 1.3 or 4 billion, they have no idea who is Allah. They give us speeches about Allah the God, Allah the one who used to need to worship, Allah the one is in control, but there is no answer. Who is Allah? No, Muslim Dai, you are allowed to beat me back in the topic, and so bring your supporters. You see, this is about support. I can dot everybody. I do not need supporters. Everybody is a witness. You could not answer anything, and actually you just prove that the Quran is a book of contradiction when you say the Quran is crystal clear, and you quote for me a verse from the Quran saying You see, the Quran is a crystal clear, says we don't elevate any messenger upon other messengers. When there is tons of verses in the Quran says the opposite. We elevate messenger upon messengers. And I start quoting for you chapter 2 verse number 53, 6 verse number 86, chapter 17 verse number 21. It's endless. Chapter 17 verse number 55. So the Quran is the book of contradiction, and this is why we say Allah cannot be God. Allah is a fabrication. It is a moon god, exists before Islam, and Muhammad, he copied.